Giving critical feedback and empathetic culture. In this video, Simon Sinek explains the purpose of feedback should be to facilitate personal development rather than to criticize.
So one of the things that we do is creating a culture in which people understand that the reason we're giving feedback is not to quote unquote criticize them, but to help them grow as human beings. And that has to be established. Like this is what the advice I offer is it's not just a checklist that you do and everything goes fine. You know, you create a culture in which difficult conversations and critical feedback are welcomed or at least understood. But it's also how we give it. Usually we give it by pulling out a piece of paper and pointing out the thing that's wrong. And saying you got to fix something, right? We usually point to the evidence first. As opposed to starting by the human being, which is, there's stuff I want to share with you. I don't know what it means, but I wanted to raise it with you in case there is an issue. Because I care about you and I want to see that you grow here, but there's some evidence that things are going a little sideways and I want to address them with them to see what opportunities there are, or if there's anything wrong, because I don't know the reasons behind it. But here's, for example, the way you talked to your teammates the other day was a little harsh. And ordinarily I'd be one to say, oh, you're having a bad day. It's no problem. Everybody gets a bad day, but you've been really beating up on people. I don't even know if you're aware of that, right? And sometimes they'll say, I'm having a hard time, and it opens up. Or they'll say, I wasn't even aware, I didn't even know. Or it reveals something, as opposed to saying, stop yelling at people. Nobody wants to work for you if all you do is yell at people. It's hard for people to receive. And so good feedback is not just about conveying the point we're trying to make. It's about creating a condition in which the person is more likely to listen and hear it. So we're all proud of ourselves once we've told them, did you give her the feedback? Yeah, I told her. Right? Did they hear the feedback? Different question.
Managers utilize constructive criticism to achieve positive outcomes by offering an individual with suitable comments, advice, critique, or suggestions that can benefit their personal life, work, or future. When delivered effectively, feedback can be a valuable tool in the workplace. The primary objective of feedback should be to promote personal growth rather than to criticize. It is crucial to create an environment where individuals perceive feedback as beneficial, which increases the likelihood of them receiving it and improving as a result. The purpose of constructive feedback is to enhance employee morale, eliminate confusion regarding expectations and current performance, provide a fresh perspective, and offer valuable insights to the recipient that can positively impact their behavior. Providing both positive feedback and constructive criticism is beneficial for enhancing employee performance. Managers utilize critical feedback to foster an environment that encourages growth and support, ultimately improving the quality of work. For managers and employers, mastering the art of delivering effective critical feedback can lead to increased productivity among employees. This type of feedback can take various forms, including praise or criticism, but it is more effective when it focuses on the work rather than attacking the individual. The outcome of critical feedback can result in improved behavior, fresh perspective, identification of weaknesses, and faster processes. Employees are more likely to accept criticism from someone who has their best interest at heart. Therefore, it is crucial to acknowledge their skills, potential, and hard work to help them view feedback as constructive. This approach fosters openness and receptiveness, leading to more productive communication in the future. When providing constructive criticism, it is important to maintain a balanced perspective, regardless of whether the feedback is positive or negative. To provide positive feedback, it is helpful to offer suggestions for improvement that can assist the individual in reaching their full potential. It is crucial to be both honest and supportive when providing feedback on areas that require improvement, as this will encourage the person to be more open to the feedback. One approach could be to begin by acknowledging the individual's past accomplishments and expressing confidence in their ability to excel in a particular task. It is important to be truthful about their weakness while also using positive comments as a source of motivation.
For the past 30, 40 years, we've over-indexed on individualism and the finite mindset. Almost all the reward structures inside our companies reward only individual performance, and yet we have to work together in teams. We're not very good at team reward. We also over-indexed on a finite mindset, which I'm sure we'll touch upon in a moment. Basically, the short term, and in so doing, over the course of years, we've taken our eye off the ball of the importance of culture and the importance of leadership and the importance of people. Yes, a lot of leaders give it lip service and talk about it, but great culture is not giving away free food. Great culture is how people feel when they come to work. And what we do is, there's a lot of evidence that, for example, the amount of time that people spend on a job is getting shorter and shorter. And we've heard that levied against entire generations. Millennials, they just don't stick around. Well, I would argue that that's nothing to do with the generation. It has to do with the generation before it that's leading them. It's nothing to do with young generations at all. It's just, if you give people an environment where they feel seen, where they feel heard, where they feel understood, where they feel recognized as a human being, they'll want to stay there for decades. But when we treat people like numbers, or when we expect people only and judge people only by their ability to hit an arbitrary number by an arbitrary date, that weighs on someone. And I'll give you a real life example of what that looks like, and then answer the converse. Here's a fairly typical scenario. Somebody in a leadership position walks into one of their team members' offices, for example, and says, "Your numbers are down for the third quarter in a row. We've had this conversation before. You better get your numbers up in the fourth quarter, otherwise I don't know what's going to happen." That's kind of normal. It's kind of a familiar scenario, whether we've given that talk or been on the receiving end of it. What do you think that does for the person on the receiving end of it? I mean, that is demoralizing. You've instilled fear in them. Now let's add a little empathy, because that's what was missing from that answer, is empathy, seeing that person as a human being. You walk in their office and you say, your numbers are down for the third quarter in a row. We've had this conversation before. Are you okay? I'm worried about you. What's going on? And that's what's missing, which is, we need a lot more good leadership, which includes things like how to give and receive feedback, listening skills, empathy, all of these. We've just forgotten to teach leaders how to lead.
Empathy is an innate human ability, but in societies driven by materialism and ego, the resulting stress and mental health issues are causing us to seek our artificial stimuli that hinder our capacity for unconditional love and empathy towards others. The human brain can only focus on one thing at a time, while self-preservation begins its top priority. Until we address these distractions and stressors, our brains cannot effectively process the emotions of others. In more peaceful societies, people work together and cooperate, but in money-driven societies, individuals are preoccupied with their own finances and social status, making us less compassionate towards the natural world. Empathy is a fundamental aspect of human being, but it can also be painful for some individuals who struggle to manage their own emotional pain, making it difficult for them to empathize with others. The golden rule, which suggests treating others as you would like to be treated, assumes that everyone is the same and will be happy if treated in the same way. However, people are motivated by different things, and great leaders understand this. They go beyond the golden rule and treat each person according to their individual needs and desires. Great leaders are passionate about their work and strive to share their passion with others. They also understand that having a clear vision is not enough. They must make it come alive through storytelling and painting verbal pictures so that everyone can understand and internalize it. This inspires others to make the vision their own. Effective leaders support their followers and take responsibility for their actions. They prioritize a sense of purpose, which involves understanding why they are pushing a particular goal. By creating a shared vision and making people feel like they are part of something bigger, leaders can inspire their followers to achieve great things. It's important to focus on developing these leadership qualities incrementally rather than trying to incorporate them all at once. Hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching. For more videos like these, and please subscribe.